Okay, so I want to welcome everyone to the second session on ADF. So I basically uh, want to thank again Vamshi for encouraging me to do the session, and I want to thank everyone who saw the last video and like that. I want to thank everyone, and I want to just again reiterate that this is a session where we all will learn together. I'm not a teacher or a person where I like talking a lot. So uh, I would like that everyone contributes. And if you have any questions, stop me anywhere. And uh, if you know anything that you would like to share, just let me know. Stop me, then we can share. You can share so that we learn. And I don't know anything much, so I'm also learning, and so we all learn together. So I'll start again. So I just wanted to thank one more. I just wanted to uh, show you one thing. So this is where I learned my ADF from. So if you on Udemy, I learned everything from Ramesh. That's if you want to link for the uh, course, let me know. I'll send it across to you, and that gives more details. And it's one of the good courses we can learn on ADF from. So that's what I wanted to share first. So let's dive in today. What I'll, so today what we'll cover is last time there was a question on how to use managed identity with ADF. So what we'll do is I'll have an intro. So that got me thinking, what is managed identity? I didn't know before that how it works. So last week I searched for some videos and I found one which is very interesting. So we'll go through that video first. I I'm sure some of you might find it boring, but I just thought it would be useful for everyone who doesn't know about that. And then we will just quickly configure manage identity for an ADF, and I'll show you how it works. Then we'll do few activities on. There are different activities on ADF, so we'll do a validation activity. Then we'll do get metadata activity and an if condition. Then also I'll show you how to set up email, how to set up ADF to send email. So that is what I'll show you again. And there is a delete activity that I'll show you. I'll try and cover all these tips today, and then we'll do any questions. And yeah, so then again, we'll at the end of the session we'll decide what next step will do. Anything else people want me to cover, I could do that. So I'll start now. So okay. So this is the video I had downloaded. So I'll just play that. See, uh, just let me know if you can hear the sound.
Hello and welcome to Azure.com. This is Azure Managed Identities explained in plain English. We are system assigned managed identities, user assigned managed identities, the difference between them, and a step by step demo on how to configure it in less than 5 minutes. Let's assume we have a fictional company which hosted super secretive customer data on Azure. They were leveraging Azure SQL database on Azure, and the application code was running on an application server which was hosted on an Azure. The database, like we all know, needed connection strings and other secrets to authenticate, which were shared with the application developers who embedded the secrets either in the application config or the code itself, both of which did not really go well with the security team. This was top secret data, and they wanted a way to securely store the keys. So the next option that was proposed was to move the secrets off from the code in the application server to the Azure key. This was a significant step in the right direction and provided great security advantages. The security team, although, was still not very convinced because the application still needed a way to authenticate to the Azure Key Vault in order to retrieve the keys. And this authentication meant that there was still some configuration information relating to the secret on the application server. They wondered if there was a better way to do this, as in there was zero secrets or credentials stored anywhere in the code. Well, the answer is yes. We can accomplish this using Azure Managed Identities. Azure Managed Identities comes in two flavors: system assigned managed identities and a user assigned managed identities. We'll first talk about system assigned Azure Managed Identities. System assigned Azure Managed Identities provides a mechanism for the service, in this case the Azure VM, to have an identity instead of the end user in Azure Active. Once this identity is created in Azure Active Directory, you can now use this to grant access to the target resources which support Azure AD authentication. In this case, Azure SQL Database. You can now authorize this identity and grant permissions based on the level of access. If this sounds a lot like service principles, that's because it is a service principle. But this is a special type of service principle, which provides you with the following advantages. Number one, you don't have to worry about the expiry of the service principles. The credential rotation is automatically taken care of. The second advantage is that it provides better identity lifecycle management. What we mean by that is when you're done using a virtual machine, the system assign manage identity, and delete the VM, the identity associated automatically with it also gets deleted. Now, if the code is run from the Azure VM, which has the system assigned manage identity enabled, you don't need to store the credentials secret anywhere on the code. The authentication happens automatically via the virtual machine. Let's quickly jump to the Azure portal and see how we can implement this. Step number one, we click on the VM and then choose identity and enable system assigned manager. Well, that's it. Now you have an identity for the VM or the Azure resource. Step number two is we go to the target resource, that is Azure SQL database in this case, and grant the VM assigned identity access on this Azure SQL database. And then click on OK. It's as simple as that. The team is super happy, and also the company started growing in business, which means more virtual machines were provisioned to handle all the extra user load. This also meant that there were a number of managed identities created for each of the VMs that were spun up. And this was getting slightly harder to manage. We talked about the first type, that is system assigned managed identity earlier, where each identity is tightly coupled to the Azure resource, in this case, the Azure. However, if we have a scenario where we have multiple VMs all sharing the same target resource, we would want to use the user assigned managed identity. What this does is it creates an identity independent of the lifecycle of the Azure resource. And as and when new Azure resources are spun up for the application, we just assign the identity to the new resource that gets created. Let's quickly jump to the portal to see how we get this configured. Unlike system assigned managed identities, user assigned managed identities are created independent of the resource. So we'll search for managed identities and then click on add. We'll create a user identity called my user identity. Now that the identity is created, we'll go back to the new VM that was created. We click on the identity, and this time we will choose user assigned managed identity, and we'll choose the user assigned managed identity that we just created. Remember, we have only assigned identity to an Azure resource. We still need to grant access to the identity. So let's jump back to the Azure SQL database. We click on identity and access management and grant the newly created user assigned managed identity access on the Azure SQL database. So to summarize, the difference between system assigned and user assigned are you create a system assigned managed identity as part of the Azure resource. Whereas with user assigned managed identity, you create this independently. With system assigned identity, you don't need to worry about the identity lifecycle management. Whereas with user assigned management, you are responsible for the lifecycle. With system assigned managed identities, it cannot be shared across multiple resources because it's tightly coupled to the Azure resource. Whereas with the user assigned managed identity, you can share. This was great. But like we saw earlier, Azure Managed Identities works with any target resource which support Azure AD authentication. But let's say if the target resource does not support Azure AD authentication, you could always place the keys or secret inside an Azure key vault and assign the managed identity for the VM or the Azure resource onto the Azure key vault. That way, you can still authenticate and fetch a key which does not support Azure AD authentication, leveraging Azure Key Vault. Everyone's happy. The possibilities are endless with managed identity. It provides a safe and secure way to manage identities and secrets inside of your organization.
Okay, so that's all I wanted to just go through. Any questions on that? I hope it was clear. Right. Okay, so we'll jump on to ADF and I'll show you how I configured that. So let me go on to portal one second. Okay, so I'll just show you what we have. This is the ADF or the data factory that we created last session. So we have two pipelines. I'll just basically uh, one to copy from text file. So copy data from text to the table and copy from to a new different database. If you have one table to another database, and we have another one which is copy from the table to text. So now if we want to give manage identity on this one, so I'll just let me, okay. Okay, so okay. Um, oh, sorry for that. I will just, oh, sorry.
Hello.
No, the wrong. Okay. Anyone knows how to get this Zoom up thing? Okay, I got it now. Okay, so let me go to the portal and I'll show you how to give that manage identity on the portal. So I'll just make it like that easier. Okay, so here is my demo ADF 10. Okay, so in this, what we do is we go to the manage identities. So right now it's turned off, the system manage identities. I'll just turn it on and click on save. So that's it. Okay, that's enabled for this basically on the ADF. Now we need to go to the SQL resource. So I'll just go to the SQL resource. We'll do it in a different way from the video because we want to connect a link service. So what you need to do is we go to the SQL database. So I'll just go there. So I have two SQL databases. One is SQL1 and one is 03. So on the 03, when I created that I created with Azure AD authentication and SQL authentication. It has both. So we need to make sure that when we use manage entities, it has the AD authentication as well. So I'll just connect to that one. Okay. And name start a SQL second query editor. Right. And we need to log in as okay. We need to don't use the SQL authentication. We'll have to use the what is called AD authentication, Microsoft. And I think so. The problem is I've not given my data SQL server. I've not added my IP address on the virtual on the server, so I'll just add that. Okay, this is the SQL server. Okay, this is my. Okay. Sorry, this is the wrong one. The wrong one. Okay, let me go to the resource group. Easier. So I had created one ADF demo resource group where I have everything, all the resources that I'm using. So I go. This is my SQL server. So I go here and go into networking. And so I'll just add my IP and save this. Okay. So now I'll go in the database. Okay. And I need to just connect to the query editor. So now it's logged in as my AD authentication. So I'll go into the ID. And what command we need to run is just this is the command. I'll just copy that. Okay. Okay. So what you do is to create the ADF name is demo. And we'll just go confirm that. Okay. So we'll just open another session. Yeah, another session. Yeah. It's more. Yeah, so it's going like this. So this is my ADF. So ADF demo is no sorry. Demo December 10th. So that is what I need to give. So I'll just go in that one. Yeah. forgot again. Sorry. 10 December 10. We'll just go 10 December 10. And this will give it. Sorry, this is DB owner. I'm giving DB owner because we could give less permissions, but I'm just for testing, so I'm just giving DB owner. That's easier. So DB. So I'll just need to run this command. Okay. Sorry, it's something.
It is demo 10 December.
Sorry.
It is demo 10 December, not demo December.
I didn't get you. Sorry.
You said demo December 10. It is demo 10 December.
All right. Thank you. I forget my. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So just do that. Run it. Okay. So this is added the ADF to user to the SQL. So now I'll go to my ADF again. Okay. So this is my December 10, and I launch Studio. So that's how you go into the ADF. Okay. Now what we'll do is I'll just show you how. So what we can do is now create a link service. Link service is basically how we connect to a resource that we want to use in ADF. So I'll just create a new link resources. It's Azure SQL database, right? And I'll continue that. So now we'll just call Azure SQL DB03 and so from here we can select it is in my Visual Studio subscription and the server name is 03. And what we need to do is instead of using authentication, we are earlier using SQL authentication. So we just need to specify system sign manager. See? So it will automatically pick up the identity and we just connect. Yeah, that's the database name I need to give. And now if we can test the connection from here. Okay, and that's it. So that we can create this link service. Now we can use this in our ADF. So that's what basically I wanted to show how to use manage entities. If you want to connect ADF to a SQL database. Any questions on that? Okay, I'll just sorry, go on. Yeah. Someone had a question. I can just I couldn't get that. Okay. Shall I go ahead to the next part? Okay. So I'll go back to my pipeline. So I'll just show you the pipeline we had. So we had this pipeline. Basically, this just copies data from one file into a destination table. That's what we did last time. So what we were assuming is that the file is always there. So you may have a practical situation where you're getting that file from, say, a third-party source or from an FTP server, and you're not sure whether the file has arrived or not. So you don't want to run your copy activity. This is the copy activity before the file is right. So there is a validation activity which I will show, which we could use in such kind of scenario. So I will just add the activity which is called validation. Okay. So all right, and let me minimize this. Okay, so I'll just copy if file arrived. We'll call it file arrived. So the main things in this are setting. I'll show you the settings. So in the settings, so what you need to give is so first we select the data set. So we have this file, the CSV file source, and what we need to do is give me a minute. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, there's a lot of disturbance from it. Okay, sorry. I'll be back. Excel. So in this, what we need to get is the data set from where what file you want to check, and then this is the main parameter where we give timeout, how much time you want to wait for. So for example, if you want to wait for a day, so you just say, "Well, I want to wait for a day for the file to arrive," and say you want to. Then sleep is the time before it checks again. So we could say 30s, maybe 360, because if you're checking it for a day, so 24 hours, then you might want to make it to be 10 minutes every 10 minutes. So, but in our case, what we will do is I'll change this. I will just make it go every 20 seconds. We'll just time out for 20 seconds and we'll check after every 5 seconds. Okay. And now we'll just, and what we want to do is we want to copy only when it's a success. So what I will do is I put it there. So now, but just from on success only we want to run this copy activity, right? When the file is arrived. What we'll do now is I will show you in my storage explorer where the file is supposed to be there. So the file is not there. So we want first to fail, and then so it should not run the copy activity. So we'll just go back and I'll just debug this. Okay, and just refresh. Just waiting for 6 seconds. Right, so wait. Okay, so yeah, so it has timed out now. So this is what you will get. So this timed out and it didn't run the copy activity, right? So now we want to check for the condition when the file is there. So what I will do is I'll copy the file and show you the file that this is the file I'll be using. This is called cases and death counts. That is what we used in the last session. So what we will do is I will change the settings so that I get time to put the copy in there. So I'll put it for 2 minutes. Then we'll put sleep for 10 seconds. Now I will start the debug again. Okay. And in the meantime, I'll go back to my storage explorer and upload the file. Upload file. Okay, so let me share the file. Get the file. It is in. Okay, this is the one. So I'll just open and upload it. There we go. So it's uploading the file. Okay, so that's uploaded. Now we'll go back to the data factory. And just refresh this. So if you see now, it's found the file. File has arrived. It's found the file. Now it is that's succeeded. It's now doing the copy data activity. So just do that. Okay, so that's copy is done. So this is how we could use the validation activity when we want to, if you want to check for a file to arrive. Any questions on that? Anything? Right. Okay, so
Can you click the validation task? 1 second.
okay,
Click the validation.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So that ds_csv file, that is the name of the file. So the one you picked is a different file. So does that matter?
Sorry,
Or it is dynamically picking the file name?
Oh, it's not dynamically picking. So what I have done is actually I had created that data source. Yes, I'll show you the data source. So last section we had created. I'll show you the data source, data set. So in that, this is the CSV file data set. So here we had given the file name. So this is the last session. So there's a file. Right now it is
Yeah, that is where my question is. Now it is hard coded now. What is usually in the real world, the next time the file is uploaded, it will have a different name. At least the last part will be either date or time.
yeah,
The first few part will be. So how do we make it? If, for example, if you
yeah.
upload another file, it will fail, yes?
Hmm. Yeah,
So how do we make it dynamically?
yeah. So what there are variables which we can use in ADF. So I could cover that next time because
Okay,
right. So right now I'm just doing with the fixed one. So
okay.
I'll take care of. And
Thank you.
I'll note down your question and we'll do that next time because that is one of the I get that because that's the one of the scenario we get because we'll have files coming from different dates, right? Yeah. So I will. Look at it. Thanks. Okay, I'll just make a note of it. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just publish what I have done. So just publish. Save. Okay, so that's done. Now the other scenario I just want to discuss was, for example, I'll show you what we have in our file. Uh, just open it from here and just open this file. So, so sometimes what happens is you get a file and it might not have the correct data. So you might want to check before you want to start the copy activity. So in that case, like for in my case, there are 8 columns and sorry, nine. So, and I want to check if the column count is 9, then only I want to start the copy activity. That is, and also if you want to check for, say file size, if you know file size, and then you could check in. So there is a get metadata activity. So we'll have a look at that one now. Okay. I'll go back to my pipeline. This is one. So I'll just minimize this and just let's get the activity and it's called get metadata. Okay. So I'll just copy it here, just move these ones. Let me, okay, right, okay. And there is this button you can use to auto align the activities. That way it is easier. So again, so we'll just go and see the properties. In this, we need to give, so I'll call it get column count. Okay, again, in the settings. Right. Again, we need to select the data set. So we'll select the same CSV file source. Okay. And here is where you need to check the add the file list what all you want to check for. So you can want to get first say a column count I want to get, and here I'll just expand this one, and I want to get say file size. Okay, and so that's all I want to get for this one. So I'll just uh, what we'll do is I'll just run this and show you the output what we get. So I'll just deactivate these two so it doesn't run those. You can do deactivate. And now if I debug, so it will just run this. So we'll get an output of that. Okay. So right, just let me finish. Okay, that's done. So it is the output of this. Okay, click on this. And so you can see the column count is 9 and size is 1472001. So now what we want to do is if the column count matches what we are expecting, we want to do the copy activity and that's what we want. So what we'll do is for that there is an if condition. So we'll have to use an if condition. So I will add that here. So again if condition. So I will get that if condition here. So we'll say if column count matches. Okay, so that's what I want the if condition to be, and the output of this we want to check, right? So we'll just connect this output to this if condition. Now what we need to do is, okay, so this is again sorry, let's click the if condition, in here there are a few things we need to get activities. So first thing we need to give is the expression where we will say uh, what is that we want to check for. So like go in this and click on add dynamic content. It will show you all there are activity output from the previous activity, and which you can check for. There are parameters and the parameters, the ADF parameters and system variables and functions. There are functions, so we will use function called, there is a logical function here which you can say equals. So what we want to it will show you, okay, equal, it says returns true if two values are equal. So we will check if it is 9 columns, then we'll run the copy activity. So then it will go to the true part, else it will go to the false part. So what we want here is equals the what activity output is get column count. So we want uh, here this is the activity get column count. So this is what we want. So we'll just click it here. So that should be equal to 9. So I will put it 9 here. So and that's all I need to do. Save here. Okay. So now we want in if activity just okay. There are two ways. So what is the activity one we want to run on true, and what is the activity we want to run on false. So on true we want to run this copy. So what we'll do is just copy this and come here and so edit this. So in the true part we want it, right? So let's edit it, and if you paste it here, right? So we'll just rename this to be copy data format. And so this is where you see this is the pipeline, this is the if condition, and this is what we want to run on true. So this is what we want to run on true. So I'll go back to the pipeline and delete, because already I have got this copy there. So I'll delete this one. Right now, in if condition, it will run that copy. So this is disabled. I'll just activate it. You can check it. Okay. If condition. Okay. Let me edit it. Okay. So active that one. Right. So it's activated. I'll go back to the pipeline. And what we also may want to do is let me back this a little bit. Okay. So we want to check the output of file arrived on to the get column count. So we want to check the file first, and I'll activate this file is deactivated. So active. So we'll check the file first, then get the column count, and then run the copy if the column count matches. So that's all we need to do right now. So I'll debug this. I'll run this. Okay. Okay. So it's checking for the file, right? First activity is run. Okay. So it's on file valid get metadata. And so now as the condition was true, we had 9. So it is going to copy the data. It's doing copy data activity. Yeah, so that's succeeded. So our pipeline has succeeded. So that's how we can do the check for column count or anything that we want to check before we copy an activity. So this is how we can do. I'll just publish this. Any questions right now till now? Okay. So next, right. So shall I move ahead or because everyone is quiet? I don't know. Is it making sense? Okay. So let me just maximize. So now what we might want to do is if the condition is false, so we might want to send an email. So in those condition, there is an ADF doesn't have a directly support any email kind of that directly you can send. So there is an activity called web activity, so which basically sends data from a ADF to a web application. So I will show you that one. So first we'll get this web activity, and I'll create it in the false. Right? We just got it. Sorry, I'll just cut from here. Let's put it in the false condition. So basically, let me go. Sorry, I'll edit it here. And we can add it. What's here is what you add. Yeah, so in this false, we want to add an activity. So we just create act, and we want a web activity, right? And the properties is to, I'll just say it is send email, just name it like send email, right? And in the settings, we need to give the URL of the application that we're going to use. So I will, so what we can do is we can create a web app, web logic app, or a logic app on Azure, and then that can help us send a message. So I'll show you that first, and we'll come and back and put the URL in this, and then try and send an email. So let me go back to my another uh, session that I have. In here, I'll go to home. Okay, so I don't want to save this right now. So what we need to do is first we create a resource and say logic apps. Okay, right, and click on logic app and just create. Right, so again here you need to get the resource group. So I'll put it in my ADF demo resource group, and what name you want to give. So I'll say send ADF, send ADF mail, right? And again, just click the region. So I'll just click Central India because that's where my all the other servers are there. And that. And next, again, this plan type standard is basic for the business kind of website. They want to use the app a lot of time. So I'll just use consumption. This is basically entry level and pay as you go. So how much we work, that's all we pay. So there's nothing else we need to change here. So you just click on next, review and create. And we just create that. And okay, so that's the resource is deployed. So I'll just go to that resource. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to go in this logic app designer to design our apps. So for sending the mail. Okay, and let's go in. Okay, uh, let's start with the blank logic app. So we'll say blank logic app. Okay, right. So I had already created one request. Request is a kind of app which will basically anything when it gets an HTTP things arrive, it will uh, be activated and do the thing. So I'll just select that one. So when an HTTP request is received, so when it receives a request from ADF, it will be activated. So that is what we want. So we need to give here the schema in JSON what it will receive from. So I'll just copy that earlier. So I'll type it again. So, okay, so let's copy and paste that here. Right. So I'll just show you this. 1 second. So what we have got here is what the ADF will send. So basically we will send email to from there. We only send that email to what subject, and just these are basically variables and what type they are. So pipeline name, activity name, that's all message what we want, what we will get from ADF. So that will configure going back in ADF. I'll show you that later. And the type of object. So this is what we all want here, and we want this. Click on add new parameter time. So use a method. And, okay, and you take post. That's all we need to configure in this one. Then new step. So in this, okay, there is a activity which is called send uh, email v2, which is basically what it was there, Gmail. So if you search for that, okay, so it will, so you can use any kind of email that you have, Office, Outlook, Mailchimp, and all that. So I'll just use Gmail my account. So I want to send email. Okay, now name is the email ID that you want to use. So it is my so that's all. We will sign in. It will authenticate you. Okay, right. So allow that. Okay, so that's all we need to do now. This is our send email task. So in this we will say to, and then we'll add the other things also. So we want a subject in our email, we want a body, and so we want some say importance, right? So we'll just go there. Now in this we need to give the parameters that we get from the ADF. So what you need to do is click on here and it will show you dynamic content. So let me maximize my window so that's easier for you to see. Uh, maximize that. Okay, so you need to click on add dynamic content. You say see more here. So it will show you what all we are getting from the last. So I don't want body here. I want email to. So I want email to, and in subject I want say subject here, right? And the other things I will just what all was there I will just copy because I forget otherwise. So we want uh, okay. Right. Okay, so we want sorry I'll just type in here. So if we want pipeline name. Say for example, you want to say pipeline name that in our message. So we'll just click that here and say pipeline name and the activity name. Activity name. Okay, and say again we want the activity name. That's what we're getting from the ADF. So we'll just say activity name and we want the message. So we'll say message and that's what is message. Okay, that's all. So that's all we need to do here. And okay, and just hide this. And now if you save this, so if you click here save, it will give you a web address which we'll use in this. So that's saved. So if you click here, it will give you this is the URL which we need to give in ADF. So I'll just copy that. Well, I'll just copy from here and we'll go back to our ADF. This is here. And when we go, we are in the web activity. So here is where we need to apply the web the URL. Just say that you trust it, and that's what we trust. We have already created right now created. Again, the API method we want to say post, right? And in this body, we need to give the parameters. So before that, in ADF, so I will show you the parameters that were given. So in ADF, this email factory name will come from the pipeline, and the pipeline name will come activity. All these three, what we will do is create an ADF variables. So let me create the pipeline variables. So if I click here, just let me, okay. So this is when I click in the blank space in the designer, it will go to the pipeline settings. So if I here is where I need to give parameters, I'll just click new. So I needed three of them, so I'll just copy them. Email to. So I want to email to. I give my other email ID. So again, these are not dynamic right now. This is just we're giving most one, and then email to, and I want activity name. The name, right? Activity name is again strict is so we'll say column count. So it's just column count, which will basically what we're doing before we do the if condition. And here to like a message. So whatever message we want to put, so we want to send a message. If you say so, we can say uh, column count does not match. Please check. Okay, please check. That's all we want. And so let's go back to our web activity and write the details here. So in the body is where basically what all will be in this, what all will the ADF send to uh, the web app. Sorry, I keep calling it web logic app. So just to the logic app. So I will just paste it here. I've got it right. So right, Control C, and I'll show you what it is. So let's okay. Let me add it here. So here we are saying email name. So email to is basically the parameter of the pipeline, and subject in this activity name I might have typed it wrong. So let me just go back. again so that I keep it the same. I'll click on OK here. Let's go here. Yeah, so this is wrong. I'll just put it here. Okay, and go back. We'll just check. Okay, activities. Oh, sorry, send. Not showing it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so if I go again, click now. So it was giving me a red line earlier, saying that activity name is not there. So now all these things are there. So it will subject is in the subject will put the data activity and the pipeline name. That's what that pipeline, and the data factory name it will get from the pipeline. So this is how the parameters will be there. Let's click on OK. Right now we want this to fail. So what I will do is we'll just change our if condition. So if what is general, sorry, activities, and if I go here, instead of column count 9, we know that it is 9, so we want to do it 8. Say it's 8, so that will be false, and we should get it. So I'll click on OK, and it's basically debug this. Okay, so now it's just asking that are these parameters fine with you? If you want to change them, you can, and I don't want to change them, and just click on OK. Okay, and let's see the debug. It's fine, right? Okay, it's checking. Okay, so it's send email. So it should I'll just open my email. Okay, so this is the email from my Gmail that has come to my Hotmail account. So if I just open this mail, so it says, okay, metadata activity, that is the PL copy from text. That's my pipeline name has failed, that pipeline. The activity 10 column down doesn't. So that's how it will send a mail. So that's what we want to do. If there is a failure, uh, we want to inform. So that's how we can send an email. Yeah, that's all I had to show today. I think so. We covered everything. And let me just go to the presentation again. Yeah, I think so. We have covered everything. Yeah, so I have not okay, I've not done the delete one, so I'll just show you that as well. So now what we want to do is, for example, once our file is copied and it is working fine, it is copied to the destination. Might want to delete it. So there is a delete activity, which is quite obvious. So let's go back to ADF and just I'll show you how that works as well. So what we'll do is we will go in here. This is where if the copy activity is working. So we'll just add another activity. We'll say delete. Okay. So and if we say give it a guest name. Okay. Sorry, delete. So let's just okay. So we'll say delete file and the destination is data set. Again, my source is where I want to delete it from. So I will select that and that has, so we'll say file path is in the data set. If you want to get a list of files, you can select that as well. And wildcard, all that works in. And there is this logging. So enable logging is when we want to write the output of the copy, sorry, delete what delete is doing into a. Again, you'll have to have a basically a storage account where you want to write it to. So I'm just disabling this, so we're not going to check that. So just go this and delete file. So that's it. Okay. So now we'll just send the if condition back to what it was, so that after copy it deletes the file. So change this back to being 9. Okay. And let me run this. Okay. So we'll debug this again. Okay. That's again the same parameters for the file. We'll just maximize this. Just refresh. Okay. So copy is succeeded. Now it will delete the file. So let's just go back to our storage account. I can go from here. Storage account, and this is my storage account, ADF demo. Okay. And if you remember, we copied and good containers, and this is the ADF files folder. We had copied the cases and debt that we can't see it here, so it's deleted now. So yeah, that's how the delete will work. And yeah, that's all. Any questions now? I just stop now. I think so. I covered whatever I wanted to show today. Any questions? Anything that you guys want me to do next time? So I'll do the variables. How can we use diff variables? And I'll do that next time. Uh, Anything else? Any questions? Did it make sense, or it is just going like? Uh, yeah.
Anup, will you be sharing this for it won't be shared
No, I'll
like
share.
the way you shared the first session?
Yeah, I'll share this because I recorded this. I'll stop the recording now.